Today we've got another piercing video for you, and this time it's all about how to put the centerpiece in the industrial piercing. It's very easy, just the stuff that you put in the center of the piercing, yeah. But personally I always like to watch other people do stuff with piercings before I do them, because I'm pretty much a wimp with piercings. Like, honestly. I'm always paranoid that something goes wrong or that I'll completely fuck up, and yeah. So I personally really like to watch other people, you know, like apply stuff and just put stuff on the piercings before I do it, because it just makes me feel more secure. So I thought, you know, if I'm gonna do this anyway, then I might as well film it. So yeah, but one thing about the, as you can see, I don't wear anything, well, just a regular bar in it right now, but nothing of this sort of stuff. This goes in the center, you'll see that later. But I thought I'd just show you the piece of jewelry first. What is it all over piercing? Not being sponsored or anything, but I just buy all my piercing jewelry there, basically, because they have good stuff. Also they, with this packaging at least, they also get, or give free O-rings with it. O-rings are really like tiny, I'm not sure if you could just see that, but it's between two pieces of the, yeah, the circles of metal where the bar goes through. There's a piece of sort of rubber-ish stuff. It's like a really, really tiny circle of rubber, I guess. Ring of rubber, whatever. But that just makes sure that it stays in place and it doesn't like fall to the back or anything. And yeah, so do make sure that you actually have O-rings, or check if you order stuff like this whether or not they come with O-rings. This one came with the O-ring and actually some other O-rings and also some bars. But I'm going to put it on this bar because I like this bar. So yeah, I'll just show you how to change it now, and yeah, let's get started. So what I always start out with is antibacterial soap. This one I actually got from the piercer where I got all my piercings, basically. This is actually the soap that I bought along with the helix and the belly button piercings, for the first two piercings I ever got. Yeah, it's just basically tattoo and piercing aftercare soap. It's antibacterial and pH balanced. I don't know if you can read that, but yeah. And of course also use a Q-tip to just apply that. And I always, well, I use it partly of course because it's antibacterial. But I also use it because it makes the piercing more slippery, so it just slides through the piercing holes way easier than if I do it dry, which sounds sort of wrong, but yeah, it's just, it works really well, so that's what I always do. God, I need to wash my hair. Yeah, in any case, yeah, then I just basically, it's the same as if you, like, if you'd really completely change out the piercing, then you just, you know, put the first part through it and then do what I'm doing. But I'm just, seeing as I was already wearing this bar, I just pulled out, I just screwed it obviously and pulled out the front part, and just, what I always like to do, I mean you can do it both ways, depends on what you prefer, but I prefer to leave this part, like the, you know, like the behind part in there, because, I don't know, on my ear at least, this is more flexible than this part. So I prefer to just twist it on this side, because it doesn't hurt. Don't twist it too far of course, but you know, you'll know when you're twisting it too far, because then it'll hurt. It's not supposed to hurt. And yeah, putting the piece of jewelry in is basically just feeling where the holes are. And just shoving it in there. I don't know if you could tell, but I was sort of having trouble getting the front part through the hole again. That was because I actually put this thing too far to the back, so it couldn't twist completely. Like the bar couldn't twist far enough. So yeah, this is a matter of trying before it's really in the center. That's another thing to keep in mind, by the way. On my ear, my industrial is pretty high up, because my ear, like the whole edge of it here, just goes flat really quickly. So they couldn't put it lower, because then it wouldn't like fit on my ear. So yeah, just do keep in mind that you gotta find jewelry that actually fits on your ear. So for example, if I would buy jewelry that was like I've seen these really cute owls, for example, but they're pretty high, so with me they would really like stab me in the top part of my ear, so that obviously wouldn't work. So yeah, do keep in mind that you gotta find jewelry that actually fits your ear. And you know, everybody's ears are different, so you know, if you're really unsure and you really want to make sure that it fits, then you can just go to your piercer and they can try it out. They can just measure it, how high up it can be before it, you know, doesn't fit anymore. So yeah, and then, you know, just put it on there and go to, like, you know, what I always find like a very comforting thought is that, you know, unlike lip piercings or tongue piercings, cordless piercings don't really like close up very quickly at all. I mean, according to some people, they never grow shut again, but I have no idea, because obviously I still have all of them. But yeah, so they don't close up very quickly, so you can just try and just, you know, be busy with it for as long as you want, and you know, it won't really be a problem. So that's always, I think, a very comforting thought. Because it actually took me a few minutes also to just really properly get it in place and just get it in the center, so I could just, you know, show the front part through it again also. So yeah, and then I just screwed the ball back on, which is for me always the biggest task, because for some reason I just can't properly do that, but eventually it worked, obviously. Yeah, and then you're basically done with it. This is really quickly and easy to do, and yeah, I mean, cardless piercings, like I said, are, at least I think they're pretty much the easiest piercings to change, just because there's no rush or anything, and I don't know, to me they're the easiest to change at least. So yeah, I hope this video was useful to some of you. If you do still have questions about how to put centerpieces into industrial piercings, or how to change industrial piercings overall or anything, feel free to ask. I'm not a piercer, by the way, I'm not a doctor, I'm just someone with piercings, so I can only really tell you my experience with them. If you're really worried about something in terms of serious problems, then you know, you better go to a piercer, obviously. But yeah, if you do want to ask me something, then I'll try to come up with a useful answer. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Hello! This week I thought it'd be fun to show you my sort of evening cleansing routine for my face, because I always enjoy to watch other people's facial routines, simply because